Yo, E,
You
how goes it?
good, brother?
Now we're missing Manny. We're
Yeah, you.
trading off.
We're
Yo,
all just.
you've been on a streak, man. You've been on here for a minute.
I have been, man. I've been keeping my Thursdays open.
Nice.
So what's good, man? I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Everything is all right. I'm actually got a big milestone coming up here next week, which I'm unsure about. Um, how do you feel about, I mean, your kids are too young, but how do you feel about sleepovers in general?
Uh, I'm not even thinking about that yet because I'm dreading stuff like that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Same.
I mean, your son's gonna sleep somewhere, or someone's gonna sleep at your house.
No, he's gonna sleep somewhere, and we've been crazy on the fence about. Well, we're not really in big on the sleepover tip, and I don't think that that's not really something that's going to be a regular occurrence, at least not now in our heads.
Right.
Um, so I don't know. I was in LA, and he was in public school, and then we came down south, and now he's in private. And this private school, I guess they do this tradition of like going and it's some kind of like camp thing, and do like an overnight for when they going into the next grade, because he's going to be going into middle school.
Hmm.
And so yeah, so at first he was unsure about, he was like, I don't know if I really want to do that. It's like, can I just go for the day and you pick me up? I'm like, oh yeah, sure. I got no problem with
But
that.
where do they do the overnight in?
There's like cabins and all that, on at this camp
Wow,
with like
that's
the teachers there, and and all that kind of stuff.
seems cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a good experience for him.
Right.
Um, I mean, he's never been yeah, we've never been without him overnight with the two. I mean, I've been on trips, my wife's been on trips, but we certainly haven't been collectively without him for a night
Right.
since he's been born.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
big step.
yeah. So I'm not yeah, both my wife and I are like, ugh. Yeah, but we also didn't want to. I mean, when he was like, "Yeah, well, I can just go the night, and then you could pick me up," I was definitely all for that. I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." But that's
Is that
just
an option though?
no, it's not how they operate for this. It's either you're in or you're out.
Right.
Um, so he's decided that he wants to do it. Sounds like it'll be fun. I'm sure he's stressing out a little bit about it, and I know there's going to be other kids who are in the same boat.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, man, I'm also just kind of prepping him. Also, like, hey, dude, this is not setting the precedence for now doing a bunch of overnights at friends' houses and stuff like that, because I'm still not
Has
feeling
he
that.
asked for that in the past?
No, not really. Not
Okay.
not yeah. I'm trying to think if it's ever come up, but not something he seems super interested in.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I think it's definitely an opportunity for like growth for him,
Yeah. Yep.
and if you were to tell me it's like going over a friend's house and staying over, I'd be stressing that more than the school thing because obviously they do this all the time.
Yeah, same. Still, it's like, okay, I don't know everyone. I don't know all the teachers, but I know them enough throughout the year, and there haven't been any issues that I feel a bit more comfortable.
Right.
Whereas friend's house, you don't know what kind of nonsense they could get into.
How far is this camping ground thing they're going to?
Not too far, maybe 30 minutes away, something like that.
So you drop off and then go back and pick up in the morning?
Well, yeah, they do a whole thing. It's like you take them to school, and then at school they get on these buses and they go out, and
Oh,
then
so you pick them up from school again.
yeah, mm-hmm.
Interesting. Seems like one of those like old school 80s movies where
Yeah, it's definitely like some old school 80s like tradition, like school tradition stuff. I'm like,
yeah, where you have the teenage
Counselors. Yeah.
that are up to no good.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely on that kind of
Well, on the
vibes.
brighter note, all the kids in those movies fared well. It was the teenagers that were causing
Right.
problems.
Exactly.
Oh man, that's good for him, man.
Yeah. I think he'll walk away with it feeling a bit more confident in knowing that he can handle himself on his own if he needs to. So
Well, this is not quite as milestone-ish as yours, but I've spoken before where it's like even tough for me to leave the kids with my mom for too long.
yeah.
Um, so we for the first time I left my daughter with my mom for like I don't know, like 4 hours.
Oh, really?
Like not like usually I'm there, but I'm like in another room or I'll step away for a second and I'm like in the parking lot or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I've never just left my daughter with her wholeheartedly, like boom. And so it was a little stressful for me and my girl.
Does your mom have stamina for the little ones for like an extended period of time?
I mean, if you ask her, she'll say yes. But
Yeah.
I'm like, especially two, no. And then especially the younger the child, I think more difficult.
Hmm.
Um, I felt comfortable now, and I'm slowly feeling more comfortable with my daughter because she's older. They can interact more. Like my daughter likes to play dress up. My mom, loves to do that, and my daughter likes to take pictures. My mom is like a photographer,
Right. Oh,
so
okay.
they could do like little dress up and picture stuff and
Yeah.
makeup and I thought my daughter, because in the past I've told my daughter, like I'm gonna leave you, and she's like, no, 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 I don't want to stay because she feels like it's boring.
Yeah.
But I thought and I told her, you can call me at any time. Tell grandmother you want to go home. She never called me. Apparently, she had a blast.
Nice.
Um, and yeah, so trying to like do a little bit more of that. But the downside of that was that my son felt some kind of way.
Oh, really?
He wasn't a part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like when we dropped her off, we were with him. He got really sad. He started crying,
Because he
and
wanted to be with your mom as well, or
with
just
my he
be
just
in the
doesn't like
mix.
to miss out. Like he wants to
Okay.
be with the family, like with my
Right.
mom, with his sister. He doesn't like breaking up the family. Um my son has like he's like he really sweet kid, and he just wants everybody to be together. So
Yeah.
he had a tough time with it. So this, we were gonna do it every week, but then I'm like, nah, it's not gonna work out every week. And just my daughter, because then that's not fair to my son. So but we'll try like once a month or something where my mom will have more and more free time, like more time, extended time with my daughter.
No, that's cool.
And then later on when he's a little bit, maybe, like next year or something, I'll let both of them be there. But two is a lot to deal
Yeah.
with,
Oh
especially
yeah.
when you're older. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
when you're our age, like,
It's
any
a lot,
age.
man. Yeah,
So,
it's a lot, man.
so it's a lot. It's a lot.
Hey, how was that? It's kind of random question, but how was that Jadakiss Drink Champs episode with his son and father?
Super dope, man.
Was it?
Yeah, it was really cool. I think on a hip hop type legacy thing, like a hip hop thing, it's cool to see the generations, and like it's like really how far we've come as a hip hop community, where now like an artist can get to a position where he involves his dad in a business, and it's like we've matured as like a culture.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see the dad, the son, the conversations they would have. Like it's definitely a fatherhoods leaning type of conversation. That the dad, they started a coffee business.
Mm-hmm.
But the dad, it's not like they did it out of nowhere. The dad's been in the coffee
Oh,
business
okay.
for
Okay.
for 30 years.
Oh, wow. All right.
He trades it as a what's it called, like
Commodity.
a commodity. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what he's done his whole life. And he always wished that Jadakiss would, like his son would follow in his footsteps, so to say. And then obviously when Jadakiss became a rapper and he started becoming successful, his dad was like, oh well, there goes that.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right. Right.
it's for him, it's cool that there's a way that they found a way to kind of circle back and his son and his grandson. So then when Jadakiss had his son, the grandfather was hoping, okay, well, maybe the grandson will follow in my footsteps. And Jadakiss's son went to private school. He ended up going to college. He graduated, I think, in business. He says it on the show. And so the granddad was like, well, maybe this is the business that he can get into. And at first the grandson was like, nah, imagine his dad is Jadakiss. He's probably like, I want to do something. He said he just didn't want to be doing a desk job.
Yeah.
That he would be sitting at a desk. And so, but then when the grandfather kind of like came up with the idea, it was like, we can create now our own brand and we could go out there and promote it and do all this stuff. Then the grandson got excited because he felt like, he could be kind of like, it's like merging hip hop culture and then this coffee business into one, and it excited them.
Did did his dad give any indication of, I'm interested in like following in the footstep, like wanting his son and his grandson to follow in his footsteps? Did he give any inclination of like kind of what drives that feeling? Because I don't know if I have that. I don't necessarily. I don't think I have that feeling of like following my footsteps at all.
I just think the dad was just like, this is what he, it's like,
I guess because he had a good life doing it, right?
Yeah, he was successful doing it. He did it for so long and it paid the bills, and so he just felt like, I guess if you take out entertainment, before entertainment was a thing for them, he's probably like, they're living a simpler life. He's like, this is like a sure shot lane that I can teach my son. Hey, I know how to do this.
Yeah.
And it works. I want to teach you, like I get it. So,
that makes sense.
Yeah. And the dad was super cool, smart, and knew about that business. And he said, he always wanted, even when Jadakiss started becoming successful, he thought he had some ideas of like, how could they merge these worlds? But he said that if he ever wanted to do it, it had to be done right. And he had like a moment in terms of like when Jadakiss and the whole versus thing popped off with the locks, and well, actually when the first Jadakiss versus that he did by himself with Fab, and all the memes of Jadakiss being drunk were like circulating all over the place. He said for some reason that gave him the idea of like, we can utilize this exposure for this business, creating this business. And he looked at the landscape of like coffee, like all the things that other hip hop artists are doing and endorsing and promoting, like liquor and clothing and things. And he's like, well, no one's doing coffee. It's a wide open lane.
Right.
And it was dope. And they brought in another, like a friend of the family's, like from Jadakiss's crew, and the dude's wife, and yeah, they seem to have a really good product. They have a really good understanding. It's not like you talk to an artist who's just like got paid to endorse something and don't really know what it is.
Right.
They have a really good understanding of the business and what they're trying to do with it. And it was dope. It was just dope to see them all there together. And
yeah, that's cool.
And generationally, like, the dad is a dad. He's talking like a dad. Like, Jada is being Jadakiss, and the son is being like almost like a naive son. But he's still he's still cool in his own way and trying to be cooler than his dad and his grandfather, like,
right.
It's definitely a cool episode for any like parent to watch and see that dynamic.
That's cool. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
And the pops was like, I don't know if people know this or we should be saying it, but Jadakiss went to private school. Like he would say things or do things that still Jadakiss is a little like embarrassed of, like not for himself, but just in general, like any kid and their parent. Yeah. It was like they didn't want the dad to drink too much. Like he started getting into it.
Okay.
And they were like, "Oh no, man, he's like, I gotta take you to eat right after this."
Right.
Like, it was fun. And Jadakiss is just a cool person, man. In general, he's down to earth.
Nice. Yeah, sounds good.
So yeah, and what about in your working world? Anything in the working world that's gotten you feel like has kind of like impeded on family life?
No, just trying to trying to balance travel and home life, just making sure it's not causing too much drama. Yeah, I just, I don't want to, I just want to make sure because it causes issues, especially when you have two working parents, and
Right.
and then, it's just the song and dance. Although my son said something interesting last night, because he was getting a little, not upset, but like sometimes, my wife, the work goes in cycles, right? It's always busy, but then sometimes it gets busier. And so,
Right.
she had to pull a couple late nighters, and that always, that always makes him feel funny. Like he doesn't want to, he wants her to spend some time and come to bed and all that stuff, but at the same time doesn't want to add the stress. But then, we're kind of like talking through that, and then he's like, yeah, I'm all, because I had just gone on a trip, and so when I'm on a trip, then it allows for them to have that kind of special connection time,
Right.
and so he's like, oh, yeah, I just feel a little out of it because, I just came off of having a handful of days. It was, me and mom, and it's like a special connection time. It's like, I love when we're all together, but it's good for me to have those times where it's just one-on-one. He goes, not just with mom, but you too, but, but it's nice to have those with mom. And he goes, not that I want you to go away on trips, but it allows me to have that, that special connection time. I was like, no, I totally get it. 100%.
That must have been weird for him to try to articulate.
He did it well. It wasn't awkward or anything.
Yeah,
I get it.
The funny thing about something like that with me is that, and I've mentioned it probably a couple times, my son, still needs a lot more attention because he's younger, and I can sense that my daughter feels like she's not getting the same attention, and it's tough, man. It's tough, and I try to like always like at least talk to her while I'm like hands on dealing with him, whether changing a
Yeah.
diaper or chasing him around or trying to play with him because he needs more of that physical play because he doesn't on his own doesn't
Yeah.
really do stuff. So, I could see that she gets really internal about it and gets kind of quiet.
Huh. I wonder how that's going to play out as they get older.
Well, what I'm noticing that's kind of cool is that they're playing together a lot more. And that's, as he's getting stronger and more independent, I think that the playing together is going to be what helps with that.
Yeah.
Um we'll see, and it's a different thing too because it's a little boy and a little girl, and so I'll rough him up where won't necessarily rough her up.
Yeah.
But
Did she like it when have you roughed her up before?
yeah,
Yeah.
I've always tried to like be a little bit, I want her to like have that tough skin in a sense, but it's just not the same as a little boy,
Yeah.
whatever, whether right or wrong, I don't care. It's the
A little
way
different. Yeah.
naturally you feel like you can rough him up a little bit more and play with him in a different kind of way. But yeah, she just, I could see that she internalizes it, and then sometimes she'll like almost like revert back to being younger. Like if I'm holding him or I have him on my shoulders, and if I put him down because it's tiring, she's like, me, hold me, hold me. And she's pretty big now. Like,
Yeah.
she's a pretty tall kid now. So I'm like, damn, like, all right. But I do it because, and I want to do it. And actually I try to do it as much with both of them as I could. She doesn't want to be held,
Hmm.
as much as he does, but she does when she sees that he's being held a lot. Like she'll eventually she'll ask for it. But I know that the time's ticking now that no longer will, I'll be holding these kids and carrying them around like that. So my girl always says, you need to stop doing that, stop holding them, stop picking them up, let them walk.
Yeah. Well, They're gonna be. Yeah, you won't be able to hold them. Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, man.
Heavy.
Yeah, my son's getting heavy as hell. And we had another milestone where, he's been slower with everything than she was, and the potty training, he hasn't, he's a lot slower, and so he finally, like, 2 times already now, he pooped in the toilet. And so,
Nice.
it's for a parent of toddlers, that's like a big deal.
Yeah.
And then, he asked to go to the bathroom. We sat him down and he dropped a big log. And
Nice.
we're all like, yeah. So that was exciting.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a win for us.
Hell yeah.
And then my daughter's like, let me see his big log.
Oh, God. Nice.
Poop is a thing in our house.
Yeah, it'll be a thing with these kids for a minute.
So did you after potty training, how do you feel now your son's good at cleaning himself?
He's pretty good. There's some times where, he's like, I'm not sure if I'm totally clean. You know what I mean?
He tells you that?
Yeah. No, and I'm just like kind of direct him, like, all right, you got to make sure to hit these other areas, right? So you can double check. But no, he's pretty good. He's been pretty good. Yeah. I mean, there's rare that I don't. It's not like skid marks are a daily occurrence or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not looking forward to. Well, my daughter, every so in a blue moon, she just like has accidents. Very rare.
Yeah.
But she has this thing where she's in the stage of holding.
Okay. Yeah.
And then she'll like laugh or something and lets loose. So that actually happened at my mom's house.
Oh, really?
She was holding her pee, and then she started laughing uncontrollably, and she just laughed the piss right out of herself.
Oh, man. Yeah, actually, I wonder if I told you the story before. There was a couple years ago. My son was with one of his friends, and they were walking back with my wife from the beach, and they're walking, and his friend got real quiet, and then because he had to go to the bathroom, and I guess he wasn't really saying anything, but then he couldn't hold it, so it dropped in his pants, right? So it was a whole thing, and he was real, it's pretty traumatic, especially when you're not home, and so. Huh?
Who was it with them?
So it was my son, his friend, and my wife.
Also, he's not with his parents.
Correct.
How did that play out?
Well, my son knew he was, because he was trying to get it out of him. Like, what happened? And his friend was like, "Just poop my pants, don't say anything." But he was, he's feeling it, right? He's upset. Right. And so then my son, just to make him, I guess, to just be in the same boat with him, decided to go ahead and pee his pants so that they would be in the same, feel like they're in the same boat.
What the?
So we had so then we had the two of them to take care of them. They got back home.
Yo, that is crazy. Did he tell you that that's why he did it?
Yeah. He's like, well, I just figured, let me just, do this so that we're all, he's not feeling so bad about it.
Yo, that's so nice, though. That is such a caring thing to do, but so awkward for your wife to do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
so
they came home. No, I was there at home. They came home to me, and I was like, oh, okay. So it was a whole.
You had to clean everybody?
Whole thing we had to handle, yeah. But it was but the idea that, okay, my son's going to be down with his friend so much that, it's going to try to take the awkwardness away from it. And
I think that's kind of cool, man.
It was pretty cool. Yeah.
That is pretty cool. But so then, the kids, so what do you do when you have this other kid? You just tell him what to do in the bathroom on his own?
Yeah, because he was really good about it. Like he wanted to handle it himself. Like, we put him in the bathroom. We got his mom on the phone, and like his mom and dad are trying to, I guess they were on not a date night, but there was some kind of thing that they had to go to.
Right.
And so they're trying to kind of
hurry it along, the conversation.
Help him here's what you got to do, X, Y, and Z. But he was pretty good about like, he didn't want our help, and we were just trying to instruct him through the door of like, all right, here's the towel, here's some clothes, put this stuff in a bag. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so it ended up being he was a good student in terms of how to get it done. And then and then he was fine afterwards. Yeah.
That's in LA, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, because I'd imagine that must have been a great like. Did they best friends or something?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because man, your son took one for the team.
Yeah, definitely did.
That is awesome. Oh man.
Definitely did, man.
Well, okay, unfortunately today I have to leave early.
Yeah, same, man. I gotta bounce, but it was
So,
good to catch up.
a short episode with just us two.
Yep.
We got to get all three of us.
I think next week it's all three plus a guest, I believe.
Oh yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yep.
All right, sounds good, bro. Take
all right,
it easy, man. Say hi
Yep.
to the family for me.
Same. We'll holler.
Until next time.
Yep. Later, man.
Peace.
Peace.